Okay, the second video, hopefully at this point you've managed to get Hello World displayed to your screen. If you have any problems and you're in class, just ask. So let's change it slightly. Let's try, instead of using one statement, let's use two. So we've got console.write. So at the moment we've got our console.write hello world. Let's say I can now program. And I've done a second console.write. I can now program. Let's see what happens. There we go. Now, what you might have expected is that I can now program would go to the next line. In our program, we've written it on the next line. But in that, when it's run, it's gone on the same line. That's because that's what console.write does. Console.write will continue writing on the same line. So I could do a whole string of console.writes. Each time it would just add to the end of the line until eventually it wraps around onto the next line and it would just keep going. If we wanted to go on to the next line, we have to use a different command that isn't console.write but console.write line. And what console.write line does is it writes the text hello world exclamation mark and then moves to the next line ready for the next instruction. So this will write hello world and then move to the next line where it will now write I can now program. Let's see if it works. There you go. So now I've got two sentences printed out, one on each line. Can you try to do a third console command that will display another sentence? So whatever you want, you pause the video, have a go yourself, and then unpause it and see a solution. Right, okay. Hopefully what you realized is to get onto the next line you need to change this to a write line. That might have taken a bit of experimentation, but hopefully you realized. And then I'll do another, I'm going to do write line. I can now program in vb.net. And if I run that, I get on 3 different lines. So at this stage, you can create a new project, you can display some text to the screen, and you know how to display text either on the same line using different commands or on different lines using different commands. So that's the console.write, which writes on the same line and continues writing on the same line every time you use that command, or the console.writeLine command, which writes something and then moves to the next line. In most cases this year, you'll be using writeLine, but don't forget about write, because it can be useful, and we'll look at some examples of how it can be useful later on. Right, so have a go, have a bit of a play around with that, see what you can display on the screen, and when you're ready, you can watch the next video.